Hello and welcome to the Magic Mirror podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Khan the Trinket Mage, and with me is my co-host, 33 Elk.
Hello.
Additionally, we have our other co-host, Salubrious Snail.
Hello, hello.
Today's episode is going to be a fun one. We are talking about our bucket list cards. These are cards that we've wanted to put in decks, but haven't found a home for yet, and we're going to share them with the class here, I guess, talk about them, and hopefully you in the comments can maybe suggest a home for these cards, or tell us some of your bucket list cards. But before we get into all of that, I need to tell you about today's sponsor, Laughing Dragon. They're hosting an event, LDXP Tacoma or Command Fest Tacoma. It is happening at the end of this month, the 27th to the 29th. You need to get your tickets if you want to see us, all of us, there playing some Commander or doing other events. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. We haven't played Commander in so long, like us together, I feel like. It's been a while.
We have not. And this is like a smaller con too, so I feel like there's going to be more time to just play Commander.
I'm so excited to play a lot of Commander. Anyway, if you want to check that out, they also have things other than Magic. If you want to go for Warhammer, Riftbound, Flesh and Blood, Lorcana, more, click the link below to get all the information, and hopefully we'll see you in Tacoma. All right, moving on to our main topic. Who wants to go first?
I guess I will because I'm awesome.
Okay.
My first choice of a bucket list card that I really want to play with, but I just cannot for the life of me get to like work in a way that I like, is Kalain, Reclusive Painter. She's black-red for a human elf bard 1/2, and it says when she enters, you get a treasure token, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent to cast them. So if you cast like a giant like X-Spell with this, right, you will get like a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it if you used all treasures. Goldspan Dragon gives you 2 counters per treasure, right? But my main thing is it isn't that this card isn't good enough. It's a decent card. My issue is that Rakdos Treasure is so boring that like I have such an issue making a deck that I find interesting to play that includes Kalain in it that isn't immediately overshadowed by 15 better treasure options where it feels like I'm missing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like even the counters part is like outshined by Gev, probably.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Are you purely locked in on this as a 99 card, or is this like a possible Commander you've considered?
I don't mind this for either 99 or Commander. It's just like when it's in the command zone, I'm immediately thinking, why am I not running Marionette Master? Like I hate Marionette Master as like a treasure finisher. It's just so boring to me.
Well, that's why you're not winning with Marionette Master, right?
I know, but it feels so bad not to run Marionette Master in your like, because Kalain is so good with Marionette Master.
I think part of the issue is you want payoffs for the +1/+1 counters on them, and I feel like there just aren't that good of payoffs in purely black-red, right? Like if this was Jund, ton of power matter stuff can happen there, but red is a little bit narrower. I guess black and red probably have equal levels of power matter stuff because red has like some fling type stuff. Black has like a couple things like Disciple of Bolas. Yeah. That was one that came to mind. A couple others. Yes, that seems tricky. I wonder if like some sort of proliferate nonsense would feel good, but I don't know if that ends up being interesting.
Yeah, for me, as far as I got with Kalain, I have like cards like the major one is Shivan Devastator, the Hydra with haste. That's just like an X-Spell 1-drop. And then you cast that, and then it enters with twice X, basically, +1/+1 counters if you use all treasure to cast it. And then Goldspan helps that out and everything. Yeah. But from there, like,
I just feel like maybe this Commander is in the 99 kind of card. Like in the 99 of a Vazzy Keen Negotiator deck, which is already kind of a quirky treasure deck. You know, maybe you could find a home there. Vazzy also could have been on my bucket list, to be honest. That card's cool.
That card is kind of sweet.
But I think Alex is right. Like if this was in Jund, we'd be talking, but because of that, I think this is I don't imagine you're going to find a home for this as the Commander.
Yeah, it's sadly a really tough one. I think she is Commander viable, like in the zone. It's just like I need more payoffs eventually.
I wonder how deep you can go into artifact synergies. Like, okay. I'm a Throne of Geth guy. Get Throne of Geth in there, right?
Okay, I love that card.
Okay, all right.
How much more artifact nonsense can you shove in that deck? How much more like artifact?
I mean, there's Clock of Omens stuff you can do if you're making a lot of treasures.
You just become a combo deck so fast at that point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You need to be very careful with your payoffs. Like if there's Soul Cauldron.
Agatha Soul Cauldron. Oh, okay. So you do Agatha Soul Cauldron BS, and then you like cast a creature with a bunch of treasures, and then you go like, aha, now I have a bunch of counters that I can use. Yeah, okay, I can see the vision there.
So Soul Cauldron Clock of Omen seems kind of funny. It works with the counters. It works with if you have like some proliferate nonsense. I think there's a vision there, maybe.
Yeah, you can get like Goblin Engineer going, and then you can get the Soul Cauldron with the Engineer, and then sack a treasure, bring the Cauldron back, and then so there's like multiple redundant ways to get that effect. Okay, I can see the vision.
Yeah, I think the hardest part will continue to be if you're not in green, how do you make the +1/+1 counters feel relevant? I think proliferate is one solid answer to that. I think running kind of the narrow suite of Power Matters cards in black could also potentially help with that, but I think that'll continue to be a little bit of a difficult thing.
Yeah, I wonder if there's, maybe you play stuff like, there's the card, was it Burnt Offering? Is that mana value or power?
It's mana value, I believe.
Mana value.
I just threw together
So is Sacrifices in it. Yeah, it is mana value.
Yeah.
I threw together a list of some like black Power Matters cards. There's like Mask of Grizzlebrand is one.
Sure, yeah.
Rakdos Joins Up is one. Doomweaver. They're a handful, but not a huge number. Sussur Secundi is another one.
Yeah, Sussur Secundi is like so cracked. That card's great. All right, moving on. Snail, what's one of your bucket list cards?
Gonna start off with one that's terrible. I might have other terrible ones as well.
I think mine are all terrible.
Hell yeah. I mean, if they haven't made it into a deck, they kind of have to be a little bad. I adore Umbilicus in terms of the art and the name. I think the name especially. Umbilicus is such a good name for a card. And I feel like the fact that the flavor text doesn't explain it very well, it was the explorer's only tether to reality, makes it all the better. Okay, so this is a 4-mana artifact that reads, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may pay 2 life. If they don't, they return a permanent they control to its owner's hand. And the art is like a guy in a metal suit who has wading through some slop and has this big cord that's tethering them from out of frame, and the cord is kind of dripping with also some slop. There's a lot of slop. This is not a good environment to be in.
This is a sloppy card.
It is. But I just adore the vibes of it. It's so mysterious and a little bit brutal, and I just like that about it. So I want to make a deck that includes this. Blood Clock is a card that actually I believe is identical.
It is functionally identical. Yes.
Functionally identical. Okay.
I've never seen Blood Clock. What the heck?
It's the same exact card. There's no reason to read it. It's the same thing. It's like formatted slightly differently.
Yeah. Blood Clock also has a great name, great art, and I think the fact that I don't like it as much as Umbilicus is a compliment to Umbilicus at how cool Umbilicus is. But this is definitely something I have looked at a bit. I kind of like the fact that it's a sort of stacks piece / damage engine, but Commander's tricky because you have to do kind of a lot to make 2 life a turn matter. So there's the question of, do you make this an aggressive deck? How hard do you try to cut down life totals to the point where 2 life is relevant? The other question is, how do you utilize the card? And I think ETBs are one basic option. Elk, you were mentioning cast triggers as well. So for something like the Emrakul that takes control of an opponent's turn, that can be, kind of a sweet usage of the card. But I feel like this card is not all that great at either of those tasks. So you kind of have to make both of them feel relevant. You have to make the opponents returning things unless they pay feel relevant. And you also have to make you being able to return things feel relevant. I think that's kind of the challenge of Umbilicus and Blood Clock as cards, right?
Yeah. I feel like for me, the reason why I'm like super interested in the cast trigger angle, there's already so many ways to rebuy ETBs super easily, but there's not a lot of ways to rebuy cast triggers. And so the fact that these are like some of the very few cards that self-bounce repeatedly in their self-bounce engines is what makes them a lot more interesting in that regard, because they're not bad at doing that. Like at least they're not horrible.
They are also notably in colorless. So you could use this as kind of rebuying cast triggers, but you can also use it in a color that is typically very not all that great at rebuying ETBs, like mono green or something.
Yeah. I also have a really bad idea that just came to me recently, which is just you can use Transit Mage to get Umbilicus, and then you re-Transit Mage.
Bounce it?
Yeah, you bounce it with the Umbilicus, and then next turn you use the Transit Mage to tutor for Blood Clock, and then you have both in play.
Oh yeah. The value.
It's the value. The Conjurer's Closet we have at home. I love that.
Yeah, but then you loop, I guess, cast triggers in blue. That's funny. I think the problem with the damage aspect is it reminds me of so I used to play a Mogus God of Slaughter stacks list. You know, in my mind when I initially built that deck, I'm like, oh, okay, Mogus is going to deal 2 damage every turn, and then I'll have my stacks pieces really slow the game down, and that's going to add up. And even in games that I won, even in games where I really did grind and slow the game to a halt, even in like all of that, the 2 damage was still not that relevant because it's just so little in Commander.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a 20-turn clock. Wow.
Now, if you can make copies of Umbilicus,
that
how many Umbilici can we get into play?
Oh, that's a funny one. Okay. Maybe we're cooking here. That's kind of funny. This is my new bracket 2 deck is how many Umbilicuses can I get?
Yeah, I mean, I have that Draftna weird artifacts list kicking around, and honestly, Draftna might be the deck for this.
Okay.
Yeah, Draftna lets you make like copies. Because the problem is, as soon as you put a mechanized production in there, you're gonna win with mechanized production before you win with the damage.
Right.
So you can't use that as the way to clone it.
See, I don't actually like mechanized production that much either. I have like an Elk Phyrexian Arena complex with it, so I would rather use other methods anyway. To be honest,
I mean, it's not a very good card to be fair.
I mean, the mechanized production is fine. It does mechanized production things, but yeah, I think like a thing that makes a bunch of token copies of an artifact, you can animate it and then hit it with like a rite of replication, right?
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
You can play Saheeli's Artistry, create a token copy of an artifact, blah blah, or that's not the one.
You also have that new one from Lorwyn Eclipse, the mirror form or whatever it's called.
Yes, something like that.
No, but I know the one you're talking about. It's 5 and a blue.
Yeah, it is 5 and a blue, and I always get it confused with Saheeli's Artistry. I think I even put it on screen once in a video when I was talking about this card, and for whatever reason, I thought it was Saheeli's Artistry.
Masterful Replication is what you're thinking of.
Ah, thank you. Now it is until end of turn, so you might need a Sundial of the Infinite to like keep it in play.
Fair.
Does that work?
Now we're too lost in the sauce. Just run the mirror form, buddy. Let's not get too cute. All right.
Hey, this is bracket 2. We can get as cute as we want.
Wait. Fractured identity.
Give everyone else an Umbilicus? What happens to yours then?
Well, you exile it. Well, I guess they just bounce their own Umbilicus, right?
No, because it bounces to creatures.
No, Umbilicus is any permanent.
Oh, it is?
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, so they just return the Umbilicus permanent to their head.
You're going to need Memnarch to steal them back.
Okay.
There you go.
Please, let's move on. I'm going to lose my mind.
We need to give the Umbilicus that your opponents have hexproof, right?
That doesn't work.
Or Shroud, I guess.
It's not a target.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
All right, let's move on to a different unplayable artifact.
Hell yeah.
I want to talk about, so originally I was debating between Meeting of the Five for this video, but that card's really bad. So I went with a slightly better card. Threefold Signal. Threefold Signal is 3 generic for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you scry 3, so massive value. And then each spell you cast that's exactly 3 colors has Replicate 3, which means whenever you cast it, you can pay 3 generic mana any number of times and copy the spell that many times. So in theory, if you have enough mana, you can go like Cruel Ultimatum.
That was my first thought, yeah.
And then, 6 more mana, trip your Cruel Ultimatum the whole table. That's kind of awesome,
Draw 9,
right?
gain 15, hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you need to be in like 4 or 5 colors for this to work. I feel like there's not a single tricolor that has enough tricolor cards that you're interested in for this thing to be like good. You know what I mean?
There are a lot of tricolors in the game now, but maybe that's the case. I would have to look.
Well, there's always been the same amount of tricolors. There's always been 10.
Well, he needs tricolor
cards. Yeah, each tricolor has a lot more cards than they used to.
I see. I was very confused for a second.
Oh, you didn't hear about the extra color price they added?
But yeah, basically saying like, I don't think, there might be a lot of tricolor cards in each like pairing, but like, I think the best one's Grixis. And I don't think Grixis even has that many that are like that good for this, right?
You know, it actually turns out that a lot of 3-color cards are legendary creatures. What do you know?
Ooh, true.
Yeah.
Does it give all of them or just instant sorceries?
You can make permanents.
Yeah.
A lot of planeswalkers, a lot of legendary creatures. Yeah.
So you need to be like a really big mana deck, like maybe even like an Omniscience deck where like you can free cast the spell.
You need a lot of mana.
And then replicate it a bunch.
Because like you only get a mana discount if the spell costs 4 mana or more, right?
Recast it for free with Omniscience, then it's funny.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. With an Omniscience, I guess you should already win.
Yeah, but like, we can make this dog shit unplayable card funny.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Because the problem is like, I, in theory, want to cast this with like Villainous Wealth, right? But if I'm going to Villainous Wealth for like 8, why did I pay 3 more mana to just do another Villainous Wealth for 8? Like, it's like so much setup, and that's like 1 billion mana, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, why can't this have been like a mana rock? You know what I mean? Just like tap, add 1 mana of any color, just throw that on here instead of when
oh
this.
My goodness.
Like, why?
If it did that instead of scrying.
Yeah, if it was just a 3 rock, it would be so much better. Like, legitimately by like 3 points out of 10.
No, that's so true, actually.
So my idea for this deck, though, is in theory, I can play it in like Aragorn the Uniter, who already wants you to play a lot of multicolor spells. He's not 5 color, but you're in 3, including green. And then you get cards like Endless Detour, which is actually like a pretty reasonable removal spell. And then you just kind of copy it.
Okay.
It's neat. I don't know how good that is.
I feel like you got to be copying the really big cards in order to really like have the cards shine. Because like if you copy a removal spell a couple times, you're still paying for the full effect, right? If you copy a 3 mana card by paying 3 mana, you've paid for 6 mana worth of card. So I think you really have to be copying like a 6 or 7 mana card at least.
That's true.
Is Replicate 3 a generic cost that's added to the card? Like you can cost reduce it?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know that.
Because like to me, it's like, what if we did like artifacts and you had like Archway of Innovation and like treasure tokens and stuff, and then you use like all these like shitty little artifact tokens to help pay for the replicates of spells.
Oh, that's kind of
when
interesting.
You cast it, copy it for each time you paid its replicate cost. You may choose. I don't actually know.
Because if that works, then like Archway of Innovation is a great way to cheat this. And then from there, like World's your oyster, right? You can just like replicate anything you want for every 3 treasure tokens you have, which is not hard to make, or like every 3 clue tokens.
Yeah. And then if you have like a category manufacturer, you can just be replicating everything.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I have to look that up. If replicate works with Archway of Innovation. Hopefully someone in the comments will let us know.
Nobody's ever thought this hard about this card.
This is very true.
I think everyone saw it, correctly identified it as dog shit, and just moved on.
Nah.
Sorry, what's the card called? I want to look at how many decks it's in.
Not that many.
It was in a pre-con, so it's going to be like inflated,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Yes, it is inflated. It's at 1,000.
Wow.
That's still really bad.
That's a very, very small number for a pre-con card.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and if you look at the EDH rec stats, it's like 700 copies in Omnath Locus of All, which makes sense because it cares about 3 color cards. And then the next highest is Ramos with 73. And then it drops to very quickly into single digits.
Yep.
Wait, it's so funny in Lord Xander though, because like you want him to die.
Yeah, so you make a second Lord Xander.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Wait, what about Navineral?
Yeah, it's good with Nivenroll. It's good with also like some creatures, like 2-headed Hellkite has Flying Menace haste. Whenever it attacks, draw 2 cards. You replicate that, which is like, what's that, 9 mana? It's not that crazy. Then you attack, draw 4.
Isn't it specifically
Kind of cool.
3 color card though?
Oh, it says specifically 3 color card. Oh yeah, I got lost in the sauce immediately.
Yeah, you thought this card was better than it was. You're trying to invent improvements.
I'm trying to, yeah.
Okay, so here's the ploy. You have Avacyn out, so everything is indestructible, and then you have Navineral.
Okay.
And then you replicate Navineral a bunch with this card, and then you get a bunch of zombie tokens after you like board clear with all the legend rule stuff. This is awful.
Any sentence that begins with "you have Avacyn out."
I see people playing with Dune Blast in these decks, which doesn't do anything because it's choose one creature, destroy the rest. What would you do with the second Dune Blast? I guess it's just a 3 color card. So Eerie Ultimatum is useless to copy pretty much.
There's a whole bunch of like high cost cards that are just entirely useless to repeat. Like there's the Sultai one, Death Begets Life.
Yeah, destroy all creatures, enchantments, and then draw that many cards. Okay, cool. The board clears the second time around.
I was looking at Sultai cards because the Sultai Ultimatum rocks. That card slaps so hard.
Yeah, Immersion Ultimatum is really good, and if you copy that, that is really strong.
But there's just nothing else.
Okay. I think it's time we move on.
I think that's the most anyone's talked about Threefold Signal ever.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe like Command Zone when the pre-cons were spoiled.
Possibly.
I bet they didn't talk about it this much. Okay, Elk, what's your next one?
All right, my next one is actually my next 2, and it makes sense why in a second. They go in the exact same deck.
Like, this is crazy. It's probably been cut from the podcast, but Elk literally just said, for time, so we can fit in questions, let's just do 1 more instead of 2 more, because we had prepped 3 each. and then immediately just go, as we all agree on it, immediately cheats and goes, I'm going to do
hang on. I would have done 4 if we didn't do this.
Okay,
and also
continue.
Simultaneously, these are the same card for all intents and purposes. It's Fira's Retribution, which is 1 white black for a 4/4 angel warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. Until end of turn is the second. Now it's the second chapter. Until end of turn, angels you control gain tap, destroy target creature with power less than this creature's power. And then 3 angels you control gain double strike until end of turn. And the other one is Grave Pact for angels only. It's a 5-mana enchantment in Orzhov. And when it enters, you make a 4/4. So you get Grave Pact for angels.
Oh, these are kind of immaculately black angel vibes. I love them.
I know, it's so cool.
Sorry, what was the second card? What is this?
Rampage of the Valkyries, rather. Fira's Retribution was the first one. So I want Orzhov Angels, basically, is what I'm asking for. I've tried so hard to make this deck work, but it turns out Fira, Judge of Valor, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, ignore the rest of the card. Angels are huge. What do you mean whenever you cast your second spell each turn? You have all these huge mana value things. You're casting your second spell each turn. You can do like reanimation spells, I guess, right? Where you go like small thing into reanimation spell and then you surveil 3. But then at that point, you've cast your reanimation spell, and then that surveil 3 doesn't help with your reanimating. You get less options, which is like, okay, I don't know. It's tough. It's like also just a 5-mana commander. There's so much not going for Fira that I don't really like it as an option for this deck. And so I'm kind of like left stranded, which like, do you play Kalia, I guess? Kalia Angels only? I don't know. That doesn't sound that fun to me.
It's kind of cool. I feel like it's a fun niche, I guess, but I don't like Kalia that much. So
I think the Judge of Valor is a neat Orzhov commander in terms of like Spell Slinger Orzhov, which is
it's really cool
common.
For Doomsday Piles.
Yeah,
yeah. Like it cracks a Doomsday Pile so well.
It's just not useful for angels at all.
It makes your Path of Ancestry tap and then scry 1 when you cast an angel.
Huge. That's synergy.
My question is, if you're playing these, how big are you dreaming with tick 2 on Fira's Retribution? Are you trying to like one-sided wipe the table with your massive army of angels, or is this just like a nice utility card?
That's the thing about this card is it's so badass, right? Like all my angels fight their creatures and
like
kill them.
It's
that's so cool. Yeah, that's like such a flavor win. But if I have 50 angels, you're just dead.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like oh, you're not gonna do it when you have 50 angels, because I mean, also I imagine you do this like second main phase basically, or you do this during combat. You attack with all your angels, they have vigilance, I imagine, and then you tap. Honestly, that's so cool. It's an Alpha Strike, actually.
It is actually sweet.
I know, it's so bad.
We don't Alpha Strike on tick 3 here when you get double strike. We Alpha Strike on tick 2.
I need a Mardu Angels commander that isn't Kalia, so that way I can run like all the insane Innistrad Angels.
How about Teriel? There you go.
Oh, we've talked about Teriel on the podcast before.
Oh, I know we have.
I know. I've yapped so hard about that card before. That card reeks so bad. Yeah, anyway, more Orzhov Angels, please.
Yeah, more Orzhov Angels, more Mardu Angels. More Red Angels would be good. Red Angels and Black Angels. Give us more of them. Give me a Rakdos Angel.
Yeah, we only have so many Rakdos Angels. I need like more.
Yeah.
Isn't that one? And no, we don't have any Rakdos Angels. I thought that one card that was like discard 2 cards was a Rakdos Angel, but I guess it doesn't.
No, there are a couple mono red ones, I think, but not a couple mono black ones, but it's mostly like black or red white.
I'm tired of these goody two shoes mono white angels. Give me some fucking vengeful evil angels, you know what I mean?
Okay, now I will say I like white creatures that are willing to be vengeful and evil because I think white has the capacity for that. But I would also like to see more black angels.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, what's your next one?
Here, I'll go with an okay card. I want to have a deck with Audacious Reshapers, feeling like a very relevant thing. So Audacious Reshapers is a 3-mana creature. It is a 3-mana 3/3. Tap, sacrifice an artifact, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Audacious Reshapers deals damage to you equal to the number of cards revealed this way. Part of the reason I like this design is because it feels very balanced to me. Like if you're using it for some like polymorph nonsense with, Portal to Phyrexia or something, you're going to pay for that in life total. Unless you like put it on top first, but I would never do such a thing. I'm not boring.
Well, or if it's a Platinum Empyrean.
Yeah.
Platinum Empyrean makes it so your life total doesn't change. But what I would pitch actually is like sack a treasure token to these guys. Your only creature's Platinum Angel. You're now at like -40 life. and you have a platinum angel in play, and then you go like repay in kind to make everyone's life total the same as yours.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's okay. I think that might be a little bit too spicy because like that's like a one-time gimmick sort of play.
Yeah.
How do we make this more sustainable?
Yeah, and if your angel dies, you just lose.
See, but that makes it funny.
By the way, this card is a redesign kind of madcap experiment, which is the same thing, just on a sorcery.
Yeah.
Instead of an activated ability.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think the correct answer is you just put in a deck that's like chock full of giant artifacts.
Yeah, you have like a commander that makes some treasures or something, and then you just hit people. I think even if you run like maybe like 10 or 12 artifacts or like 15 artifacts, that still is only hitting you for like 7, and paying 7 life for some massive nonsense seems
I
pretty
would pay 7 life for a Blightsteel for Colossus. Like, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so that seems like it might be the move. And then, you can turn this into an artifact and Clock of Omens.
Yeah. Oh, baby, you're speaking my language.
Turn something into an artifact and then Clock of Omens it is a common play pattern in my bracket 2 Glissa deck, and I can't get enough of it. It's so funny.
It's so fun.
You also just have like such a good opportunity for like indomitable creativity as a deck, right?
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, I think the challenge is not falling into like super boring polymorph territory, because I think polymorph is cool as a mechanism for getting things into play, but if you just end up with a bunch of like very generic things, it can end up kind of boring. So that might be part of the challenge, is figuring out an interesting thing for the big artifacts to do and then constructing the deck around that. I'll have to look at big artifacts.
Yeah. Well, whatever deck you end up building with this, it's going to include Combustible Gear Hulk, I imagine.
Oh, probably. Yeah. I love that card.
I'll have to, when I put the list online, I'll have to show you my new Clock of Omens fiddling with artifacts pile.
Good.
Because it is very much turn something into an artifact and like twiddle it a lot. Oh, it's my favorite fidget toy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. You can also go like Boros with it and just like have all those like drum bellower type effects that untap it.
That's true.
Players untap set.
Wait, is it? It feels like it should be a sorcery, but it's not sorcery speed. Audacious Reshaper's Control. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but we're about to find out.
Great. Con, what's your card?
All right. My final one is a card that has been sitting in my binder for I don't even know how long. I've never found a home for it, and I just kind of keep it there because it's like $1. I'm not going to sell it or anything. And that is Destructive Flow. It is black, red, green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-basic land of their choice. That is it.
I mean, it's a decent stacks piece, I feel like. Although, obviously, it hits you as well if you're playing a 3-color deck. Probably. But maybe
As
not.
a freak who loves Mayhem Devil, forcing sacrifices is really good.
Yeah, if you're playing like Mayhem Devil or like Death Priest, is that what he called?
I was thinking of Mayhem Devil, and then you run the insect guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember his name.
Mazarek Kral Death Priest is the name of it.
I knew it was a Death Priest.
Yeah.
This is like perfect for like Awakening the Trolls Jund deck, right?
Sorry, Awaken the Trolls? I don't know this card.
Waking the Trolls, pal. It's another Kaldheim saga. This is the second Kaldheim saga mentioned this podcast. I'm too used to live streaming. Anyway, 1, destroy target land. 2, put target land from a graveyard onto the battlefield under control. 3, choose target opponent. If they control fewer lands than you make a number of 4/4 trolls equal to the difference.
That's so
this
funny.
Is awesome. It's put a land from a graveyard, target land from a graveyard. So you can blow up their special land and yoink it.
Yeah, and then you make a fuckload of trolls at the back end of the card, and then like you can like do like counter manipulation things to like get that troll trigger every turn.
If this card wasn't 6 mana, it'd actually be good.
It is 6 mana. That's the only downside. But you're in green, so mana doesn't matter.
I know. Well, if you're in land destruction, mana does matter a little bit more.
Can you counter manipulate to get 3rd tier of a saga multiple times?
Yes. Yeah. It's an iconic play with Urza Saga.
Power Conduit.
Okay. You just have to do it like in response to the trigger happening.
Yeah.
Because it like sacrifices at the end, it like checks.
You don't even need to do it in that because Power Conduit lets you just tap to remove a counter. So
yeah. So the thing is with Waking the Trolls, it's the 3rd saga chapter. So normally a saga would sacrifice itself after the 3rd chapter's done, but it sacrifices after that 3rd ability is done triggering. The stack needs to be empty.
Yeah.
And also it needs to have a number of lore like saga, whatever counters.
So it like goes to check at the end of the saga chapter. It's not like the sacrifice gets put on the stack at the start and then it resolves at the end or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a really iconic play, or at least it was for a little bit with Urza Saga, to get Hex Parasite with your first Urza Saga, and then the second Urza Saga you could just keep forever and tutor every turn with.
Oh, that's pretty cute. I like that.
Yeah, because Hex Parasite could...
Yeah, Hex Parasite does that. Power Conduit does that. Power Conduit, great with your Clock of Omens pile, because you can untap the Conduit and you can remove all the counters from your Saga and then re-put all the counters back on.
Yeah. Tap your Geth's Throne of Geth a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So there's options. There's options for this where you could like Waking the Trolls every turn, which is really funny because the card sucks, but it's really funny.
It's a hilarious card.
Back to Destructive Flow. My problem with this is in Jund like stacks, there's like better ways to blow up lands. Like this is like such a slow way to do that.
I know, but it's like a fairer way to do that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess so, but I probably wouldn't play this outside of like a bracket 4 list anyway.
Yeah, that's
I guess so. I mean, it's not that crazy to play in bracket 3, I suppose, but
it depends on what the rest of the deck is a lot, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were like only against 2-color decks, I could see it being okay at bracket 3, but the moment like a 3-color gamer joins, it's like, well, I'm stuck at this mana value for the rest of time. That's where it might get a little bit tough, you know?
Yeah, it is funny to be in Jund to go like all basics and then play like Winter Moon as well. So you get to play Blood Moon, Winter Moon. You get to play all those non-basic land hate cards, Ruination, and just make it one-sided.
Doing that in 3 colors.
I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, you can run like a bunch of like things like Ash Barons and stuff, so you can still fix, but you're just fixing with basics.
Or Evolving Wilds even.
Well, great. Do we want to move on to Beseech the Mirror?
Okay.
You sound like upset about it.
Hit us up with your further Destructive Flow thoughts.
I have it in a sleeve in my binder, and the sleeve says like $100 because it was from some other card. And then a lot of people will pause and go, "Is this card $100?" And I'll be like, "No, it's just the sleeve." And I think that's funny.
It's from the 90s. Anything could be $100.
Exactly. People go like, I don't know what this card is. It could be $1 billion.
Actually, it's not from the 90s. It is from the year 2001 because it is from Plane Shift.
Dude, I'm from the year 2002. That card's 1 year older than me. You've gone dead silent. Is everything okay?
I'm trying to find questions. Sorry.
I'm older than this card. I'm cool like that.
I'm heading to the Council of Elders, so of course I'm older than that card. Moving on to the Beseech the Mirror section. This is where you beseech us for answers. All you got to do is put mirror in your comment, and we'll get to it maybe on the podcast. You can also add us on socials if you want. I haven't gotten a good question that way yet, so maybe you could be the first.
It's such a diss at anybody who's gonna send you a question on socials.
I've only gotten like 3, and they've all not been things that I could add
on the
podcast.
We got a small sample
I'm asking for some better ones.
Okay.
Most people ask questions in the comments, which makes sense because it's like easier.
Right.
The first question comes from Heroic Gerbil. Mirror, I cast Equinox on a land I control and activate Mutavault to counter Damnation to ask. I've played around with Wizard Cycling a lot, and I've failed to find a way to get Archaeomancer back after it's removed to continue the loop in Azorius. What do you recommend?
Okay, this is like an elk coded question. So here's the correct answer. Don't get Archaeomancer removed is my first recommendation.
Yeah, where are your infinite counterspells?
Secondarily, there's like 15 other Archaeomancers in Magic the Gathering. So Archaeomancer is the cheapest and best one, but you have other options that are wizards. So Shipwreck Dowser, Pauper All-Star, and then there's also a Salvager of Secrets is another one. So you could go redundancy route. Typically, like, listen, you are a greedy shit if you think you need to flicker Archaeomancer like more than twice. You know what I mean? Like Spellseeker's the far better flicker target for like wizard cycling loops, where you can go like wizard cycle for Spellseeker, get the, stupid ephemerate. And then like, especially with like a lot of these really good spree cards, you have 3 steps ahead rather. You have Final Showdown, I believe the name of the card is. That card's really good. It's a board wipe in your Spellseeker. And then you can also do like Winds of Abandon and stuff. And then there's Pull from Tomorrow, which turns into Giant Card Advantage. So long story short, like, after you've gotten a couple of Archaeomancer flickers out, unless you're doing like some combo stuff with like Orim's Chant, where like you're flickering it every turn and Orim's Chanting your opponents, I typically find that like you probably don't need multitudes of that card. But if you do, there's redundancy to be had. Secondarily, there's a really good card you should probably be running in your wizard cycling decks that I don't see too frequently, and that's Riptide Laboratory.
Oh, yeah. Slaps.
Yeah, where you can bounce the Archaeomancer back to your hand in response to removal or something. So just keep that open. It's basically like having a counterspell. You can Teleria West for it, since we're obviously talking about tutors up the ass here already. But also you can run just like, you're in blue, run counterspells, dude. Run Mother of Runes. Like you could tap that thing and then protect the Archaeomancer. But long story short, Wizards is a really resilient archetype. So even if you do get your loops counteracted, you still have other ways of creating advantage and a stable game plan that doesn't involve the Archaeomancer. Hooray.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add.
I do. Redundancy is probably the smart decision, but let me give you the bad solution. Sword of Light and Shadow lets you get creatures back in any color. All you got to do is have one of your other dinky wizards hit somebody. Or alternatively, if you already have graveyard synergies, Codex Shredder is kind of fun. You can mill yourself, and then it has an alternative mode. You can pay 5 generic, sacrifice it, and return anything from your graveyard back to your hand. And your wizard cycling package can include Trinket Mage, which gets Codex Shredder.
Okay, deep breath. What if we just ran Jailbreak, which is a white reanimate sorcery that is in your Spellseeker pile? So like you return a card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. And then when that permanent enters, you get to return a permanent card as well. You choose Archaeomancer. So if you return something with 5, with equal or less, so something with 4 or greater mana value from an opponent's graveyard to play, you can get your Archaeomancer back, and then Archaeomancer can get the Jailbreak back.
Yeah, that's
so now your Archaeomancer's immortal.
Yeah, there's also just white reanimation in general, right? Like late to dinner, like you can just play white reanimation spells.
Yeah, like exactly. It's just that those aren't spell seekerable like Jailbreak.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got options. Long story short.
I didn't realize white had just straight up zombify.
So since the beginning of time.
They have 4 mana zombifies.
Like Resuscitation
Zombify
or
is
Breath
4
of
mana?
Life.
Yeah, 4 mana is the best you get in white.
Yeah.
I actually like Late to Dinner. I think that card's quite good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Modern Horizons card. Of course it's good.
Right, exactly. All right, here's a question. This is from Likely Story. They ask, Mirror Mirror, I sacrifice 2 lands to Lotus Field and cast Brought Back to ask, in my indestructible stompy creature deck, can I use Natural Affinity in response to an opponent's board wipe, or is that mass land destruction? Natural Affinity is until end of turn, all lands become 2/2s that are still lands.
Yeah, including your opponent's lands, which would get blown up by the damnation.
Yes.
So it's always about the spirit of things, and it's like, is this going to create a fun gameplay pattern for your playgroup? And the answer is almost certainly no.
Yeah.
It's not. So that's your answer, no.
Well, also, if you're putting Natural Affinity in your deck and you're thinking, this is what I do in response to board wipes, like it's kind of obvious what you're doing there.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're running the card for some other reason, in a particular moment, it just so happens that you'd love to destroy all lands, then like, okay, maybe, but like, if that's your intention going in, then I don't know.
I only cast Natural Affinity when my Elesh Norn's in play. Then yes, or in response to a board wipe. Then yes, it is a MLD card, and it probably should not be in your deck if it's like more like bracket friendly. That being said, if you're like running this card in a land animation deck, I'm more partial to that, even though it still has that use case of like blowing up all lands by accident sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like there's a big difference between using it like defensively and offensively. If you're like, all right, I'm going to combo Natural Affinity with Blasphemous Act in an attempt to destroy all creatures and lands, then obviously that is MLD. I feel like I've had this come up before because I had a friend who played Kambal Fist of Kroza, and it was in the 99 of a deck. And then, Kambal Fist of Kroza has an ability where you can pay 1 green to make a creature into a 1/1. And he would just leave up like 4 green mana as board wipe protection and be like, look, if you're going to cast a Wrath, I'm going to blow up 4 of your lands. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of fine.
That's fine. A Natural Affinity does it to every land, even the players who aren't board wiping.
Natural Affinity is every land. Yeah. But I think like, if you're just playing something that has the ability to do that and it comes up in a game, like randomly, it's not intended, I think that's fair game.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just like, we're trying to keep as many lands on the battlefield as possible.
Who's we?
In bracket 2 games, pal. Bracket 2.
Yeah. I don't think you should feel bad if someone's board wiping you in your Kamal deck and you're like, I'm going to turn 2 of your lands into 1/1s. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course not. Don't hear that, audience.
Yeah, I guess I'll quickly reiterate. If you're putting a card in a deck, it's all about the intent. I think if the intent is can't wait for a damnation to come so I can Armageddon people, then that's probably not ideal. But if that happens in a game, a little gray area. You'll probably be given some.
Now,
grace.
if you're playing bracket 4 and you want a Natural Affinity and then play like Azuri's Predation and make a 4/4 that fights every land, that's awesome. That's funny. That's so sweet. Like in bracket 4, you should be doing that 100%. That's good.
Honestly, if someone did that to me specifically in bracket 3, I would not be that mad either. It's like, oh, well, the game's ending. Like, sure.
It's also an 11 mana play.
Like 11 mana play.
If that happens after turn 7, I'm like, great, dope, you got it, man.
Yeah, double digit turns, like you can do that to me. We're good.
While you're looking, did you see how many comments were like, I hate Tier Zoo?
I saw some of those.
I honestly didn't look too hard at the comments. I need to go through them more.
There's one comment that was like, this guy matters less to me than like the dog shit under my shoe.
Oh, I think I did
like,
see that.
That one made me laugh my ass off. I was like, oh my God, so vitriolic.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Does he have any like...
I guess he's got ops, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like why? He just talks about like clams.
People find excuses to hate anybody big.
He didn't put my favorite clam at S tier.
True.
Dude, he said bivalves were C tier, dude, in the fucking underwater tier list.
This question comes from Facts 4 Numbers. Mirror, I sacrificed Spore Frog for the 32nd time this game to ask, how do you unoptimize a deck? I found myself often making decks with a certain bracket in mind and overshooting it, not by adding too many generically good cards, but often by building a deck that is far too consistent or fast. Do we have any unoptimization tips?
Make your payoffs specifically worse. I think running powerful enablers can be fun still, because I think a lot of times that is the fun, is kind of putting together your engine and making this fiddly machine. Yeah, that's kind of what I did in my bracket 2 deck. It is very much like a fiddly machine deck that could easily be bracket 3 if I put more powerful payoffs in the deck. But, you know, the things I can do with like Clock of Omens are not that good, even though it's a very good card. So I think focus on making the payoffs worse. If you're running an ETB deck, cut some of the stronger ETBs for weaker ETBs and keep the same flicker cards in the deck. Same thing if you're running like a landfall deck. Make you run some of the worst landfall cards. Run some of the weird ones nobody thinks about.
For me, the way I've been unoptimizing my decks recently is mostly just like finding funny side grade cards. Like I personally think if you like have a 40 plus creature deck and you're not running like Beast Whisperer, you should be like taken out back and shot. But I'm not doing it, so actually I guess that should happen to me. I swapped it out for a Johnny Sleeper agent in my Kellen deck. It's a really bad advantage engine that reveals the top card of your deck. And if it's a creature or planeswalker, you put in your hand. And it fits the top deck manipulation theme of the deck, where I like use a map token. Oh, look, it's a creature. A Johnny puts it in my hand now, right? Like that. And it's just a funnier card than Beast Whisperer. So I've been taking out like the more generic staples and just replacing it with funny cards. For Camarilla, this has been looking like taking out a lot of the like cheaper counter magic and just instead adding more like 7 and 8 mana sorceries, right? Like, so just like leaning deeper into your deck's themes instead of just running like more of the generic options. Sometimes you need some generic options for a truly bad theme to like kind of stick together. Like you want to run the stock up instead of like a horrific on theme card advantage spell just to keep the glue, like the deck glued together. But like, see how bad you can make your deck while the wheels still turn is my advice.
Ooh, this reminds me that I also run really terrible proliferate cards in my bracket 2 deck. I have Spread the Sickness in there, the 5 mana destroy a creature and get proliferate. I have Carnivorous Canopy, the 3 mana destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying, and you proliferate if it was low mana value. So you pick, again, bad payoffs, pick funky cards that do what your deck wants to do, but maybe a little questionably. And that'll probably be okay as long as it's still doing the job.
I think alternatively, you can, as someone who's a chronic optimizer, you can make your deck's theme have so many hoops to jump through that no matter how optimized you make it, it cannot be fast. So like, yeah, I was playing a goad kind of like forced aggro deck, and that was like a pretty decently strong bracket 3 list. It won quite a few games. And then when I built my forced combat deck without goad, like it had no goad as a restriction, I have to play Pillow Fort effects and then also forced combat like manually, as opposed to goad, which kind of does both of those things combined. The deck slowed down immensely because there's a whole nother hoop I have to jump through. If I just force combat, they can attack me, and then I just lose, and it doesn't do anything for me. So having to combine those two things and adding extra hoops makes it like much more difficult to complete the task. So it slows your deck down. You know, no matter how many tutors or whatever you have, if there's 5 steps you need to complete to actually get to the win, it's going to take at least 5 steps worth of time to do that. So yeah,
that can also be a thing where like there are certain like really core cards like Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar are both very, very efficient ways of doing that effect, but you can pick worse options. A lot of times you can take out a card and find like a couple cards that perform the task of that card almost, or a couple categories of card that do it. And that can be a way to kind of make things less efficient, where you pull out the cards that like bind a deck together super efficiently.
You don't even need to go that much weaker too. Like in my Rakdos Judith Aristocrats deck, I took out Phyrexian Altar because it was just way too strong, way too easy to combo. And I put in Warren Soul Trader. Like, and that one life payment matters. It makes like all the difference, because before Phyrexian Altar plus Forsaken Miner is an infinite loop with my Commander Judith. Whereas Warren Soul Trader, that one life means I need a Blood Artist now. So now it's actually a 3-card combo to make it work, right? Warren Soul Trader, by the way, is still an insane card. Still very good. You're not sacrificing card quality that much. You're just like depowering it by like 5%. And that's all you need really to like make a deck feel a lot more fair for the power level it's at.
That's a great example, yeah.
Great, are we done now?
I think so.
I can finally play my Modern Miracles deck, guys.
Woohoo.
I'm going to Orange Chant so many people. I'm going to have a great time.
Hell yeah.